to this custom LEGO Hermitcraft showcase. This one is quite different, as I will be showing everything in real life instead of on a slideshow just showing mock-ups of what figures could look like. You can see here, this is my green figure from that minifigure series. He has a custom head to make him look more like Gran rather than just a normal Steve. Goes all the way across all sides and the top. His torso is just plain red, like Gran's mostly is, and then he has the gray legs. Mumbo over here, you can see he's got a black one with torso printing. Cub over here on the right, and I'll go more in detail on each one of these in a second, but this is just going through everything. Over here, Cub. This one looks a lot more damaged than the other two because he was made about 4 or 5 years ago. So he doesn't look as good, and he is also quite damaged because I've used him a lot. Over here you can see the button, but this is more based off the one from Buttoncraft rather than Hermitcraft, but I thought I'd throw it in here anyways just because I thought it was pretty cool. On the left you can see a 10x10 Mumbo for Mayor poster, and over here you can see, I believe, 20x20 Mumbo for Mayor poster, or it might be 16x16. I'll check that, but I'm not certain. And in the middle of it all, you can see it's Grumbot. I'll go more into detail on him, but he has different expressions. That is definitely not one of them. He's got happy one there. He's got a few others, and I'll show those in a second. But that's everything I'll be showing off today. Let's get started. The first thing I have to show is the green figure, which I already went into quite a bit of detail in the intro, but here's a full 360 spin of him. See outside. The only thing I detailed was his head. On the actual minifigure showed off in the Minifigure series, he has a little bit of detail up there to make his torso slightly different, and detail for his shoes, but neither of those were too important, so I decided to leave them off. His hands are skin tone as well, similar skin tone to his face, but that came out slightly more reddish than I would have liked, but I think it's fine. His hair, again, goes all the way around his face with some slight detail there, which isn't on the other figure because you don't see the sides of them. You can see here is where I taped it up. There's a slight crevice there. Doesn't look great, but I think from most angles he looks fine. Like if you look at him from there, he's fine. Top of his head is also completely that one solid tannish color. Some slight mistakes there, but other than that, he looks mostly fine. Now, let's go on to Mumbo. For Mumbo, I decided to not only give him the custom head going all the way around with the extra printing there, I also printed out his torso because I felt like the tie was important enough to include, rather than just leaving a blank black torso. See, on all sides, he's all just a black torso and legs, and his hair is also black, but some came out slightly grayish, but again, I think it's fine if it's not complete dark black. His face, you can see his mustache there, and his eyes with the detail around them. It's the exact same print that I show off in the minifigure series, and I actually gave him the redstone torch accessory I gave him in the minifigure series, or actually I think I gave him a spoon, but a redstone torch would have also worked. And I feel like it's suitable enough for his character. And again, nothing really on the back. But I'm pretty happy with how he turned out for the first one in a while I've done the torso printing on. I think it looks good enough, blends in with it. It's slightly lighter, but I actually like that because then it makes the legs stick out more. Otherwise, he just looked like one solid color all the way down. Kind of looked like he's wearing pajamas. But other than that, that's about it for Mumbo. Let's go on to Cub. And here's Cub. Cub is the first ever custom LEGO figure I've ever made in real life, and you can tell that just by looking at it. In some areas, like there, it really doesn't look great, especially if you look at it from the top. There's a huge gap there that I wasn't able to cover up. But in some areas, like the torso printing, I think it looks pretty good. This one, I didn't use my design from the Minifigure series because I simply hadn't made it then yet, so it's just his normal skin, which it doesn't look as good, and that's why I wanted to do the minifigure series, because just that much detail on a simple little minifigure just doesn't look that good to me. For his legs, they're dark blue, just like Cub's real skin, with a white hip beast, just because he has the white coming down slightly. If I had the option, I'd put white printing there and there just to make it look a bit better, because it kind of just comes down the middle. His arms are also white, and on his back, I put a white piece of paper there without any printing on it, because if I peel it back slightly, you can see it's a torso. I believe it's like just the one, like sweatshirt one. You can see it there as well, peeking out over that, just slightly crinkled. The edges of his face are slightly scratched up as well. There you can see it, the folding line. The tape is peeking through at the top, like I showed before. But other than all the little mistakes and damages it's gotten over time, I think it was a pretty good first figure. Moving away from minifigures now, I'm gonna start off by showing off my button, which, as I said in the intro, is based off the Buttoncraft button, not the Hermitcraft button. Go all the way around. It's mostly gray on all sides, then the front, and a bit of dark gray there. See, it's got the lip that goes all the way around the bottom, and then the hood on top, which is curved. And you can see the lights. It's actually on blue right now, if you look closely. It's hard to see in the video, but the lights only go up to blue. And then there's a dark gray. Actually, you know, I can take that off. And there, now you can see it a bit better. There's the dark brown there, and then lights going all the way across the rest of it. And if you notice, looking in from the top, you can see some orange as well. And that back area is hollow, and that's because I can pop out this back section here. And I used to be able to fit a light through there. I unfortunately lost the light that I used to fit through there, but it was just like a cheap one I got from some carnival or something. The reason it opens up like this as well is because you can take off these belts and swap them for any color you want. Well, that was a pretty cool feature. I haven't made any more to showcase that, but pretty simple. As well, you can pull off this roof bit, and not like that. But if you try, you can, yeah, well, you can break it, but the top bit pulls off like that, and then you can swap out these belts here for any color you want. You can see it's pretty messy and a bit confusing to put back together, but I thought it was a cool feature to be able to include, just because we swap belts so much on Buttoncraft. Oh my gosh, it's all falling apart now. But nonetheless, I think it's a really cool build, even with the features meh, like usability. That only clips on with 2 studs there. And in the front and center, you can see the button, which is round, but I think that's fine just because, well, the button is usually round. It feels like you can press it like that. But now let's move on to the Mumbo for Mayor posters. For the second to last item, I have 2 Mumbo for Mayor posters. Starting with this one on the left, this is a 10x10 one, which has 6x1 for the Mumbo, a 2x1 for the mustache, and then another 6x1 for the mayor, which obviously are not written out just because that would require way too many studs. And then his mustache is just simply done here at the bottom. That's just a simple pattern you could use for any of Mumbo's mustaches anywhere. And you can see it's on a 2-thick plate. That's simply only because I didn't have enough plates to keep these all together. So it's just like built on top of each other to keep it structurally sound. For this one, you can see it's a big Minecraft base plate that's used for like snow biomes and stuff. The mustache is again here, just double the size, which I think is pretty cool. The Mumbo for mayor is there again, and again, just simply double the size, so it's pretty easy to do this. The Mumbo going across the top is, I believe, 12 studs in length. Same with the mayor, and then the 4 is just 4 studs in length. 4 is 4 studs in length. You can see for the mustache, I have 2 2x4s on either side, and then a 2x8 in the center, just to get that look. And I believe that's it. These are pretty simple posters, but I thought it was fun to do nonetheless. Now let's go on to what you guys have been waiting for. Final thing in the video, it's Grumbot. And to be honest, this is probably what you guys clicked on the video for. Probably one of the most interesting things here. His head does rotate side to side, and he has the little antenna on top, which I almost forgot. It's a bit hard to see in the video, but his head rotates side to side, which obviously isn't a feature of the real one, but I thought it fit him quite well. The details on here are not exact, but they're pretty similar. He's got the 4 different buttons. 1, 2, 3, 4. I guess the paper dispenser. And then I think that's red on the real one. I don't remember. I haven't seen Grumbot in a while. This was built a while ago when Grumbot was like first constructed. Then some redstone lamps there. His mustache is more detailed than the Mumbo one. It's just, you can see a simple Mumbo one with some extra details. And the green hair up at the top. And then for the eyes, this is another cool area. He can be happy, like I showed before. He can also be sad. These are only attached with one 1x1 circular stud in black. He can be sad, or like that. There's one eye sad, and the other one's sad. And these ones are actually pixelated, unlike that just made up happy one. Be sad like that. And then he has his other emotion, which is angry. Like that one's a bit more obvious. You can see his eyes are kind of pointed down at a slope. Then he can go back to normal like that, which is just kind of like just normal eyes. I thought this was the easiest way to put it. And I think that's it for the video, because maybe I should do a tutorial on this Grumbot. Comment down below if you'd like to see me do a tutorial. He's a pretty basic build, because his back's just nothing but plates. But I can do a tutorial on him if you guys really want it. But I think that's it for this video. Goodbye!